This summer transfer window has shown the hypocrisy and the fickleness with football fans. I say this because the saga that has been going on for months and months in Alexander Isak finally got sorted the other day. He has been public enemy number one because the main argument has been he hasn't, held up his contract. He had multiple years left on his deal and he's refusing to play for the club. Like I said, I don't think it's brilliant because I think he's let his teammates down, and it's essentially cost them points because I think if he played against Liverpool, they probably win that game. Saying that, however, I never see anyone moaning about, for example, Manchester United. They had the bomb squad this summer. Terrell Malacia, Rashford, Antony, Jadon Sancho. These are all players that the club don't have in the plans and Amorim doesn't want them training with him. And they've made it as hard as possible to stick around and essentially ushered them out of the club. Chelsea as well, they've got loads of players that they've been trying to get rid of. Disasi, for example. Apparently, they're not even in the same training ground as all the rest of the players. But no one ever says, well, the club needs to, hold up their end of the deal because they've agreed the contracts with them. So why is it any different if a player wants to end their contracts early rather than a club ending a player's contract early? Rasmus Højlund is a great example because he wasn't in that bomb squad with the rest of them, but he wanted to stay at United. He wanted to prove himself to be the striker that they paid for. But Amorim had seen enough and he just wasn't in his plans. So they made it really hard for him to stay and essentially ushered him out the door to Napoli, which I think is a great move for him. But how is that fair? Because they've signed that lad to a 5-6 year deal, but because their plans have changed and they don't see him in the future, well, that means they can get rid of him without really any media backlash. It's this whole thing with Mark Gay, because I don't think Palace should have sold him. He was the captain and they didn't really have a replacement for him. But he's not a Liverpool player. And he would have been a Liverpool player if he did what Isak did or if he did what Visser did for Brentford. And I'm not saying that's great because obviously a player will have an emotional attachment with the club, the fans. But to me, I just don't see it as such a bad thing of a player forcing a move because it's such a short career and it's such a short career in their prime. At the end of the day, the best footballers, what is their prime? 3-4 years? So I do not blame them for trying to maximise it at all. And I just think it's so hypocritical for all of these fans to go, well, they need to honour these contracts, when the clubs literally will rip them up in a second if they're not in the plans.